Hi, you guys. I'm Mark.
I'm Lili.
And together we are, you know. Today we're going to get a little serious. I'm sure the majority of you have heard about what's been going on in America as of late, and we just wanted to touch upon a couple of things that maybe you guys were wondering about, or things that we just wanted to get off of our chest because honestly, upon witnessing what's been going on, it's just been really rough to see, especially with how certain parties have been retaliating as of late.
So I guess, first of all, what's going on is that it has come to light, even though it should have come to light many years ago, that there is systematic racism against Black individuals in terms of police brutality. So people have recently been unjustly murdered because of the color of their skin, which is very wrong and very evil.
I was first exposed to this kind of thing back when Trayvon Martin, the whole incident there had just happened, and from that point on, I've kind of just been super paranoid. I changed my entire wardrobe. I used to be a big hoodie guy. Not anymore. I'm a jacket man now. And I would just get really paranoid, especially when I was just walking alone at night. I used to love going out and about at night, but ever since, I just haven't felt safe. And I feel like a lot of Black individuals have been feeling that way as well. And honestly, seeing what is happening now, all I have to say is, let's make this time count. Let's make sure we're doing all of the right things. Let's make sure there is no chance for this kind of thing to resurface. We need to send a message, not a violent message, of course, but one that is strong enough so that the police department and any other party gets the idea that we will not stand by and allow this to happen any further.
I agree. Yeah, and even if you think, oh, this doesn't affect me because I'm not Black and I'm not even white, like if you're a different minority, it should still affect you, because if you look throughout history, minorities time and time again have stood with each other for different things. Like, speaking from being Asian American, I've recently learned the history of how Black people have stood up for different Asian communities in the past. So it's very important, especially as if you're another minority, to stand in solidarity with Black people, because even though we can't understand exactly what each of us have gone through, we do know that we've each gone through some sort of discrimination and racism in our lives and in our past. And if you're a white person, it's important to pay attention, because you are already at like the top of the totem pole, and you do have the power to change and hopefully change others as well for the better in terms of this. So if you start recognizing that there's a problem and you start advocating for change, then you will hopefully have a ripple effect on other people. So if you're a white person who is standing up for Black Lives Matter, you're very much appreciated.
As far as the protests are concerned, these are the biggest I've seen. Like, typically whenever something like this would happen, it would just be in the designated state where the murder happened. But now it's everywhere. It's even in certain areas in Europe. It honestly blows my mind to think that it has finally reached a point that the other countries around the world are starting to put their feet down and say enough. It's pretty encouraging, but like I said before, we just have to keep this up. We have to keep on pushing. If we lose momentum, we'll lose our voice, and that's the last thing we want to do right now.
Yeah, don't let this just be a trend or a phase. Like, it's because it's people's lives. Like, you might not live with it every day thinking like, oh, if I get pulled over, something bad could happen to me, but Black individuals, they think that every day. So if we can come together and support them and stand up for them and stand with them, then I think that could do the world a whole lot of good in the end.
Very much agreed. So, for those of you who are still scratching your head at what you could do if protesting might not be your thing, or you're passionate about a different avenue, we'll just give you guys a couple of tips and suggestions on what you can do instead.
And in the description, there'll be like more specific things.
Yeah, so number one,
like you just said, peacefully protesting. And that doesn't just mean like in person, because, you know, the pandemic is still a thing. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that for that reason, or just, you know, protesting like that is not your thing, then there are other ways you can do that. You can do it through your social media accounts. You can do it in your everyday life, in conversations with your family and friends, because I'm sure we all know someone, at least, who is either still racist or just does not completely understand still what's happening and how important it is to change things. So just advocating for change in any way you can is really important.
And number two, keep yourself well informed. I can't stress enough how many people will go around saying that what happened with George Floyd or any of the other unfortunate victims, that it was fixed by the government or some weird conspiracy along those lines. Just gotta say, if you aren't certain about something, look it up. It is honestly the difference between life and death. It helps so much, not only for you, but for your Black peers, friends, family members. It just helps to know what all is going on, the full extent. And if you do that, it showcases how much you care, as well as how much you are willing to help put an end to this.
And like, also not just to stay informed, but to also educate yourself. No matter what ethnicity you are, you can always learn more about the history of Black people in America. How I've done it throughout my life is mainly through books, so I can put some book recommendations in the description. But if you just read like something like the narrative of Frederick Douglass, like that is very eye-opening, and then you go and read something more modern like Citizen by Claudia Rankine, you'll see how, you know, even though slavery isn't a thing anymore in America, it's not too much has changed in terms of how people treat and view Black people. So, you know, keep yourself informed and educated, whether it's through books or movies of some sort. That's also very important to just get a more well-rounded perspective on things.
Yeah, very well done. And another thing to potentially look into is to just check on your Black friends or family members. This has been incredibly hard for them, just thinking about the possibility that they could be in George Floyd's position or any of the other unfortunate victims. It's a very scary time for them, and letting them know that you see them and care about their well-being and will be there for them in any way that you can, that just puts their minds and hearts at ease.
And even if you feel like you don't completely understand or you don't know what to say, it's still important to reach out to those people in your life, because if you're silent, that's going to be the thing that hurts them the most. So just tell them you're there for them, and like Mark said, that you care for them, and that will really mean a lot to them.
Another thing, and pretty important considering how much of an effect and impact this has had on people, remember, if you are going out to protest, to wear your mask still, because there is still a pandemic happening, and you just have to make sure that while you are encouraging and spreading unity, you aren't spreading something else as well, because let me tell you, there have already been reports of new cases. Let's not have these protests be remembered as what started wave 2.
Oh, and also there are plenty of like petitions out there for, you know, justice for these victims, and also just look into your local government, see what your local police department is doing, see what your representatives are saying, and just always be aware of what's going on in your city. And if there's anything you can do to change it, you can email your representatives, you can call them. Like, they are here to serve you and the people that live in your area. So if you reach out to them, it has an impact.
And one more thing, charity. There are several places that you can donate to help in regards to this cause, as well as others. And by doing that, again, it showcases how much you care and how much you are willing to put in for this to end.
And in addition to charity, you can also support Black businesses. Like, there are plenty of restaurants in your area, and just other businesses that are owned by a Black individual. So if you come out there and show your support by buying a meal or something, I know they'll really appreciate that, especially during these economically troubling times.
And I would probably say that this is the most important thing. No matter what, you need to stay strong. If you're a part of an African American family, you need to stay strong and remember that you are not alone. There are so many of us out there who are going through the exact same thing, and there are so many of us out there who are wanting to make a change. Stay strong and remember you're not alone, and you guys have to stay together for real. This is our chance to showcase what we can do to stand up for ourselves. And let's not make it violent, okay? That's like way up there. But yeah, ultimately that's all we were going to do for this video. I know it was a little shorter than normal, but this is really important to both of us, and we just wanted to get out our 2 cents. So without further ado, I'm Mark.
I'm Lili.
Until next time, you guys, and stay strong.
Bye.